Now for the track guide. Turn 1 is a very difficult corner, just by the nature of it. The first thing you should want is to align the car with this green drain. You want at turning to have the antenna almost touching the green drain, as it is here. So as close as you can to the green drain to open up. The second thing, the braking point, in between 150, you just want to brake not that heavy because you don't want to slow the car down a lot. You just want to rotate it, and that's the second point, second important point of this corner. You want to get the rotation early, and to do that, what I'm doing, if you're noticing now on telemetry, each green blimp on the telemetry is a downshift. So I'm going from 6th to 5th, from 5th to 4th, and then from 4th to 3rd gear. The timing of the downshifts is what is going to generate your rotation. If you downshift to 3rd a bit later, while still turning into the corner, so not on the straight line, so for example here I'm in 4th, now I'm in 3rd, this will give you the rotation that you need, because the rotation, getting the rotation early is super important in this corner. You want to be early on apex, and the only way to be early on apex is to be able to rotate the car earlier during the corner. So by the time I'm at this point, I'm already building up the throttle to balance the car. So what you want to do is get that rotation early. Don't brake too late. Use the downshifts and the steering wheel to make the car point, and then trail brake in the lower percentages. So I can see here, still trailing, still trailing. There's a lot of trail brake going on in the lower 5% of braking, which is giving you the rotation that you would really need, and then building up the throttle. If you are on throttle on this apex confidently, you will balance the car, because right now the weight distribution of the car is to the front part, and the rear is so much more loose. By using throttle at the apex, you're balancing the weight balance of the car, adding some weight to the rear tires, which in terms will make your exit more controllable, and you can carry the speed. Also notice the throttle shape. It's very confident. It doesn't have hesitations. It starts smoothly because I'm balancing the car with the throttle at the apex, but then it builds up very fast. And on the exit, I'm using all this curb, including the yellow sausage curb, to carry as much speed as I can. Now, second corner is very similar. Still the antenna on the green, but the difference is that you don't have a lot of grip on the apex. So I'm braking in between 150. I'm dropping the brakes. I'm downshifting as quickly as I can. I go to first gear, but again, notice the timing of the downshifts. The first 3 downshifts are more closer than the last one, and the last one is made while I'm approaching the apex to get that rotation that I need. So still trailing, still trailing, still trailing, still trailing, still trailing in the lower percentages, and then going with the throttle. And that's because you don't have a lot of grip on the inside here. So here is very little grip. Now the grip builds up, and then the throttle builds up as well. So your inputs should be aligned with what the grip levels are. No grip, just trailing, grip, building up the throttle. And this is one of the examples in which you are not able to be confidently on throttle at the apex, because it's just an exception of the rule. If you want, there's not a lot of grip here, so you must delay your throttle application just to have your car turned and pointed up in the right direction, and then building up the throttle, going to 100% using all the exit. Next corner is very similar with the previous two. Still open up, still braking in between 150. The only difference is that here you don't want to trail brake a lot, because your right tire will lock up. That's because you have to turn a lot more to take this corner, and if you keep holding the brakes and trail brake softly here, your front tires will heat up, and that's not good. So I'm dropping the brakes more sharply, and then I'm using this curb, and on this curb I'm using the throttle. So I have a slight moment in which I'm not doing anything, but I found this is very helpful for the car balance. And using this curb, the green part as well, is gonna rotate the car very nicely. It's gonna hook up the car so that you can carry a lot of speed. And that's the one challenge that you have to do here, to carry a lot of speed in this corner. So braking with the smallest amount of force that you can get away with, hooking this curb, and then building up the throttle on the curb, using all the exit as well, trying to carry as much speed as possible. And now it's where the lap changes, because the first corners were very similar. The off-track limit is having an antenna on the green, so I'm trying to not getting an off-track. I'm braking past the 50, and like turn 1, I want to generate my rotation early on entry, because it's a very long corner, and the more you can rotate early, the more you can carry more speed, and you can be earlier on throttle. So if you look closely, my car will start to oversteer on entry just a tiny bit. So right here, the car dances a bit from the rear by using this downshift and the steering angle combined with the braking. But this is making me carry a lot more speed than not doing it. And then I'm apexing at this white line. I'm not using this curb at all. I'm apexing at the white line, building up the throttle to the point that here, when there's more grip and I already rotated the car enough, I'm able to be at 100% throttle and using all this exit. The limit is touching your right tire, the sand. That will be an off track. Next corner, again, you want to use your brakes just to turn in the car, not to slow it down. Notice how my antenna is so far to the right of the white line, and this is a subtle thing, and what you need to do when you're approaching is not go straight to the left. You need to go a bit more forwards with the car and then turn in and brake. Very low braking here just to make the car point, and depending on the downforce, you can be, at this point, you can already be on throttle if you have more downforce. For example, in the fixed setup, there's a lot more downforce than what I'm running now. But if you don't have a lot of downforce, you just have to be patient with the braking. Just braking in the 1%, is still braking 1%, and then go back on throttle. You know you have a good corner when you're using all this exit. Last complex of corners, very high speed corners. Braking point is the 50-meter board. I'm trying to rotate on entry again, like in the previous corners, by using the downshift and the steering angle, trying to hook up the car in this curb and then quickly be back on 100% throttle, because the off-track limit here is having the antenna on the red. So you can use all this track and it will open up a lot the last corner, which really matters because it's a big straight after it. So you want to have the antenna in the middle of the green and red. At the end of the red, I'm applying the brakes. I'm rotating on entry again, a slight moment of oversteer, a bit too much that I wanted, and then at the apex here, you want to be back on throttle, 100% throttle as quickly as you can, because there's a lot of grip around here, just because the road goes down and the car gets sucked into the road. So here, there's huge amount of grip. So as soon as you arrive here, you should be pinning the throttle down. And in short, that's a track guide of Red Bull Ring. I hope you have a great week ahead, and I'll see you on the next one.